management for children, which is a very relevant topic in these trying times. Today we have with us Ms. Swati Banerjee, counseling psychologist and therapeutic practitioner. I would also like to mention that we are live on Facebook page of UDL Kids. So before starting the webinar, we would like to give you a brief introduction on what UDL Kids is all about. So please can we have the video on UDL Kids? Okay, so this was all about UDL Kids. And I would also like to mention that this webinar is being brought to you by UDL Kids as well as Zen Alpha. So before starting the webinar, one more time, let me tell you what UDL Kids is all about. It's a 24/7 online preschool where we are passionate about educating young minds to help them explore the world of knowledge and curiosity. Your child can learn anywhere, anytime. UREL Kids covers a broad spectrum of subjects like phonics, general awareness, mathematics, English, which will ensure the all round holistic development and learning of the child. The courses have been designed by a team of educationists with decades of global experience. And this webinar is also live on YouTube page of Zen Alpha. So UREL Kids is for our young minds and Zen Alpha is for our little bigger minds, we can say, where our mission is to create a revolution in holistic learning for next generation skills and which will involve all technology and business skills for generation Z to Alpha and make them an authority for a successful life. So we have covered your child's preschool to his teenage years through UREL Kids and through Zen Alpha. So thank you very much, UREL Kids and Zen Alpha, for giving us an opportunity to present this webinar on anger management and anger and stress management for children. So before we start the webinar, I would just like to say that our nation's goal is Fit India to Hit India. In these webinars that we have every week are includes the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of each child. So without much ado, I would like to invite Ms. Swati Banerjee to introduce herself. And before we go on with the question and answer session, as well as if you have any questions for our expert, please do type it out and we will be keeping a track of all the questions and she will and ma'am will definitely try to answer all your questions and queries. Thank you. Over to you, Swati ma'am.
So a very good evening to all of you, and hope considering the situation currently, I want to wish everybody a healthy day and a healthy week ahead. Hope all of you all are safe. I am a counseling psychologist, and I'm also the co-founder of Udgam, which is an organization that my friend and I, we founded together to bring awareness on mental health and emotional wellness of individual from all walks of life. So we do a lot of sessions on, workshops, webinars on mental health of students, teachers, on professionals, even for women. So this is a little about me, and thank you so much for inviting me for the session today to talk about two most relevant emotions, and that is of stress and anger. Can I start?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay, so I'll start, Shri Shah, with the first, maybe it's an activity I can say. Can you tell me what is the current emotion that you have or come with for this webinar?
With this webinar, the current emotion that I'm feeling right now in this current situation is maybe anxiousness and feeling very worried about how it will happen, where it will happen, and what can be done in the future. Right now, even my daughter is in 10th standard. So this year's 10th standard was cancelled. So next year, what is going to happen? That anxiousness, that stress, I mean, it's coming all together, doing all the work at home, even managing professional engagements and personal engagements, doing work at home. Everything is like coming together, both the anxiousness, the stress. So what can you
Complete.
suggest for us? Yes.
So I completely understand this and I acknowledge it, because you are now talking about it, which means that you are bringing your emotions to an awareness level. That you are, when you are talking about it, means you are actually, there is a dialogue between what your thoughts are, what your emotions are. And your thoughts are caused by a tremendous number of situations that we are faced with. So we are faced with another lockdown, we are faced with a impending uncertainty that when will things become okay, there is loss of lives happening all around you, when are you going to be the next, that fear is there in us.
Yes.
Even when we wake up in the morning, uh, we always want to know that if all our loved ones are safe at home.
Safe. Safe at
Yeah.
home.
So there are a lot of emotions that are getting emoted by all of us. As what is emotion? Emotion is coming from a Latin word called motere, and motere means you have to respond, because the body and your mind is telling you that you are faced with certain situations and you have to respond to that situation. And
Yes.
emotion is just that. And so exactly when we are talking about good emotions, positive emotions like happiness, excitement, then, when you are saying that I have been extremely feeling glorified, all these are positive emotions. Relaxed is another emotion. These are positive emotions. Similarly, we also have to acknowledge, as you just did, acknowledge the not so positive emotions like anxiousness. Anxiousness is also telling you that your body is, there is some uncertainty in front of you and you have to take response. So if you look at that anxiousness from a positive mindset, you will not get burnt out. Most of us are thinking in a very negative thoughts. Our thoughts dictate the emotions. So if we are conditioned to think with always pessimism, with a feeling that there is no hope, I am the only one who is facing all this calamity, there's nobody to help me, I am the one who is in the receiving end. If these are the thoughts, then your emotions will always be emotions of anxiousness, stress. Then there will be displaced anger. Yeah, because the anger is no longer telling you to take positive action. It is actually going to the negative side. So it will,
Yes.
yeah, it will go to the negative side of it.
Okay, so maybe listening to your, positive thoughts, it's making me feel better. Hopefully through as this webinar goes on, we will be having that same effect on others as well who are watching the webinar. Okay, ma'am, so let's go ahead with our question and answer session right now. These are some of the questions that were put forward by our parents and some from our side as well. So first, as you had mentioned that you are a life skills trainer, so can you elaborate on what does a life skill trainer do?
Okay, so before I go and talk about life skills training, I want to read out some statistics that involves adolescent. Okay, so I just want to mention that every hour there is one student who commits suicide in India. This is according to National Crime Records Bureau, that is NCRB. There is 10,159 students died by suicide in the year 2018, and there has been an increase of from 9,905 in 2017. So 2019 reported a spike of 3.4% increase in the suicidal rate. And Dr. Kamath, he has said that the capability and worthiness of a child is judged currently in the current scenario only by the basis of academic achievements, and the society is not open-minded to respect non-scholastic achievements.
Oh,
Risk
yes.
factors of these committing suicide is because of stress, frustrations, inability to have a balance between reality and what is the reality of this of the child's aptitude. There is no there is no balance. So the expectation from parents is very high, and the
Right.
reality is something different. So here it is very important for parents who are joining in to understand the session should not be of a purely a lecture session. It should be an internalizing session where you have to probe in yourself that what is the objective of you coming and attending this webinar. It is very important because if you are attending a webinar, you need to internalize, and put it into practice, that every day from today I will make an effort to know a little more about my child. Yeah, so this I wanted to talk about because this is the reality in life right now. And even while we are talking, and with this pandemic lockdown for last 2 years, there has been an increased rate of suicide also among students. Students have, many children have committed suicide because of the inability of technology in front of them. So they can't study, they can't join classes. So there has been scenarios where also parents have forced children that continue studying, be disciplined, but there has not been open communication or understanding that the children are also going through stress while in the lockdown. The pandemic has not only affected the adults, the mothers, the fathers who are providing bread and butter for the children, but also for the little minds who are unable to meet their peers, who are unable to, play prank in the classroom, who are studying with a machine right from morning 7:30 right up till 3:30, attending tuitions, and then again, they have their parents saying you have to study 1 hour, 2 hours, you have to give. I mean, where is, and moreover, there is no energy loss. That means they are sitting in one room and they are going on being with the machine.
Right.
Okay, so now when you ask the questions of life skills, now I am a life skills trainer. Now, when we are talking about life skills, it is all about skilling individuals or adolescents with the 10 life skills. Okay, for example, the 10 life skills would include self awareness, empathy. Then you would also have something like communication. Okay, then we have problem solving, then problem solving skills, then is creative skills, then is interpersonal skills, emotional skills. So all these skills are extremely important for the students, especially the adolescents who are going through a period of transition. They have a period of transition where there is a biological change, there is a psychosocial transition that is happening, from childhood to adulthood. They are all moving into an adulthood stage. They are confused between, I want to be independent too, my mother and my parents are controlling me to do this, they are not allowing me to think independently. But then at some times I listen to my mom saying, be a big boy, be a big girl, you have to be an adult, you are 15, 16 years old. But whenever I make choices, I am told that no, the choice is wrong, that will not be helpful to you. So life skills trainers are trainers who actually train children in schools by providing them very supportive learning and experiential learning while teaching. We tell the children that you need to learn these skills. We provide them various scenarios, and we tell them that this is the skill that we are trying to teach you, and this is the area that you need to work yourself on. When we ask about strengths, like when I'm talking about self-awareness, when we ask a child about strengths, can you name some of your strengths? Believe me, ma'am, they are at loss.
Yes.
They don't know what to say
Yeah,
about their
that will
strengths.
be
They
there.
say, ma'am, my strength is gaming. My strength is playing football. Yeah, that is a skill strength. But what is your inner strength? Are you a resilient child? Are you a child who has empathy? Are you a compassionate child? Are you a child who is creative, who can, or a child who is adaptable, who is friendly, who is respectable? These are also some of the skills that we are talking about.
Which have to be developed, right? Very true. So, would this be applicable for preschool going children as well? How would you try to
Of
talk to them?
course, ma'am. The thing is that preschool is the early stage. So actually, we are born like a clean slate. Our mind is like a clean slate,
Yes,
tabula
yes.
rasa. So when we talk about clean slate, which means that every learning that a child goes through from the time they are born, okay, to their adulthood, they go through every stage of absorbing information from every surrounding they are, every environment they are surrounded with.
Yes.
Whether it's a preschool, whether it's a secondary school, or high secondary school, or university level, child is always learning. So if you can include, beautiful stories are there in preschools about anger management. There are beautiful stories about empathy. If
Yes.
we can include these small skills in children, you will see a different world in front of you. You will see children growing up as empathetic, not self absorbed individuals.
Self-absorbed or self-centered. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, ma'am. So let's move on to the next question. I just wanted to know that as a counseling psychologist, what changes have you seen in children over a period of years? I mean, every child, as we know, is different. Every child is unique. So every year, I think you must be seeing new things that you must have not imagined that, oh, okay, this can also happen. Yeah.
Truly, truly, absolutely. So, well, I can talk about different generations, but I would like to hear, just tell to all the wonderful parents who have joined in, you are doing a great job. Okay, so that should be the sentence. I should not be saying who is the best parent, who is not, who is making a mess out of parenting. We will not judge. This will be a non-judgmental platform, because every parent is experiencing different challenges throughout generation. In my generation, there was different challenge. We
Different
didn't have
challenges.
exposure to technology.
Yes,
So
not
we
everyone.
had one of our parents working, so we saw a lot more hard work, lot more monetary financial crunches during our time. It was a struggle for us, but however, we had a lot of cousins to stay with. We had a lot of physical activities.
Activities, moving around, yes.
So
That
there
was
was
a
a lot of
different thing.
freedom. Yeah.
There's a lot of freedom, yes.
So here, unfortunately, with the millennial children, They are born with a golden spoon. So, so they have technology. They are born with
Yes.
technology. They are faster with changing screens. My daughter and my son teaches me how to post an Instagram, which I'm so bad at. And they are what,
Experts.
10, 12 years old. They are telling me, my daughter, who is just 13, going to be in her teens, she's telling me, Mom, I'll tell you how to, do these reels, which is happening so popular
Mhm.
in Instagram. So you can understand they have the golden spoon of technology. They have that technology. Learning is not about education and information. Learning should be about skills.
It should be about skills which can be
Absolutely.
used. Okay.
So
Yeah.
children know that I need to get this information of biology. I will just Google it and
Google
get
it.
that information.
Yes.
We don't need a teacher for that, but we need a teacher to mentor the child who is weak. We need a teacher to mentor the child who is broken. We need a teacher and a parent to mentor the child who has lack of self confidence.
Yes. Very true.
That is the learning. So when a child does bad, we in exams, yes, you are informing the child that you have done bad in the exam. You are telling the child knows that you have, that he or she has done bad. What else can you tell the child? You can actually sit with the child and tell him that you are meant for this. You can be this
You
if
can
you
do
put
it.
this effort.
Yes.
So, for that effort, what do you need from us as parents?
Very true.
You
Yeah.
know, that should be the dialogue between the parent and
Parent
the
and
child.
the child. Very good. Yes. Very well said, ma'am, and very truly said.
Yeah.
Now,
Of course,
I would like.
another one I wanted to add up here, I wanted to give a lot of kudos because here you're talking about changes in children. I want to talk about the children of the millennials. The millennials, they are diverse and extremely knowledgeable. They are diverse. When I say diverse, means they are so respectable to all kinds of people, which we were not open to.
Yes. Very,
Okay.
yeah.
And they also have very realistic ideas, which sometimes clashes with the parents'
Parents'
expectations.
expectations. Very true. Yes, we all do face all these issues, whether it's a small child or a child who's in their teens or child going to college. That issues are faced by the parents. But I think with the time and now as it is, we are moving ahead. Hopefully, everything will get better and we will all be in the normal way of living. So it will get better. Let's hope for the best. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, can you shed light on some issues that can trigger a child's anger or stress?
Okay, so children are growing up. Children face different, like their emotions get regulated in different stages in different ways. Like a 3 to 4 years old child will not be having so many words to express their anger or stress or frustrations, so they throw tantrums. An older child, because he has words and he can express what he is feeling, will show that I am angry because you said this to me. I am angry because you're not allowing me to watch PUBG, or you're not allowing me to watch Fortnite. So that is the way they are going to express their
Express
anger. And
themselves.
sometimes there's anger becomes a collision between a parent and a child, because
Yes.
the parent cannot, they are not prepared to accept that the child is talking on top of me. How is that possible?
Yes. We do
You
say
know,
that
I am.
we never talk like this to our parents.
Yeah. So we have to understand that children are much more verbal nowadays. They are talking about it. When you're talking about millennial children, they are, of course, having a lot of digital friendship. They're having, a lot of, digital connection, like playing online all the times. Then they have Instagram, WhatsApp, Discord, all the ways to connect with friends. And what happens is that when you take away those, it makes them frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them angry. And how will they express it? They will express it through words or gestures.
Gestures.
So when children, like those who have not been exposed to life skills or having experiences of life skills trainers in the school, they will not know how to regulate their emotions.
Emotions. Very true.
If they have conditioned in an environment where the mother is raising voice or the father is raising voice all the time, then automatically the child is conditioned to believe
Mm-hmm.
that I need to express my frustration because by
By
raising my
raising my
voice,
voice.
because
So what can, yeah, so
that is
what can the
acceptable.
parents do in such cases? I mean, how can they put a positive image in front of the child?
So the first thing the parent has to know that my child is expressing an emotion which he is currently going through. Can you see me? I'm sorry, I just
Yes,
lost.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So when the child is expressing, please pause, stand, listen to the child. That's the first step. Acknowledge what the child is going through. Tell the child that, yes, I know you are feeling frustrated because I am taking away your game. After you've played it for 3 hours, I am taking away the game because it is not good for your health,
Health.
not good for your mind.
Yes, yes.
So you have to be very realistically projecting what you want the child to know. The child understands if you're faking it. If you give wrong explanations, the millennial children are very smart. They understand who is telling the truth, who is not.
Yes,
The
very.
more the more practical person you are, the more practical parent you are, if you tell that this is the reason, these are the health hazards for playing for so many hours, they will
Yes,
listen to
they
you.
will understand. They, I mean, if you give them a proper explanation of why you should not do that, they will understand it. Yes, very true.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned some of the triggering issues, believe me, ma'am, this whole 2 years where I have been counseling a lot of children and parents, there is lot of dynamic issues. That means husband, wife, father, mother, parental issues. Like father is having a different parenting mechanism, mother is having a different parenting mechanism. There is a conflict there, and the child is just sitting and waiting. Who will I,
Listen.
who can I manipulate when my stage will come? They are very smart. They will use that manipulation to make the parent feel that, oh, I went wrong somewhere, because there is a conflict in
Yes, very true.
parenting. So when you, and here I would tell the parents that one of the parent needs to back off, pause, and let go of that war there. If the father and the son or the father and the daughter is having a conversation which is not okay for you as a mother, where you're seeing that, you are not okay with the discussion or the ideologies or whatever, rather than saying in front, you need to go back, speak to your husband or speak to your wife that this is what I feel about it, and then jointly go and talk to the child.
Child. Yes,
it
very true.
is it is very difficult to do that because we are always on a reactive mode. We are always in a very stressful situation, very difficult, but every day can be a trial.
Very true. Yes. So I would also like to know that whether anger and stress are interrelated. Do anger lead to stress, or stress leads to anger, or how does those emotions work?
Yeah, so no emotion can be treated as in isolation. Okay,
Okay.
every emotion that is there is interrelated. So for example, you said that you were very anxious and stressed. So anxiousness is a different emotion, stress is a different
Different
emotion,
emotions.
but it is stress or anxiousness is actually a subsidiary of your main emotion. And the
Okay.
main emotion is, I am either feeling very sad or I'm feeling very angry.
Okay.
So there is those five main emotions, and then there are subsidiary emotions which is related to what your true emotion is. So
Yes.
no emotion can be treated in isolation. So if a
Isolation.
child is stressed out, the child is stressed out because of enormous hours of studies, enormous hours of digital gaming, enormous hours of social media contacts like through Instagram chats and Discords. Then they are stressed of the family dynamics, parental fight happening, sibling stressed out, siblings causing stress to the child. There can be enormous amount, and moreover there are also stress by peer pressure,
Yes.
not to forget that. So
Yes, that is
uh,
also there.
yeah, the child is lost in his, like, if I don't play with my friends, I lose my identity. Yeah, if
Very
I
true.
don't play today, my friends will think, what kind of parents, you have such strict parents. So I
They
have
look.
to keep my image.
Yes, very true. So there's one parent who has asked that his child is 4 years old, and there has been changes in her behavior. She throws her tantrums, gets angry. Earlier, they never faced such problems. So, what would you suggest for such child? That how can the parent help her to understand?
So the first thing I would like to say here is that every child, as I mentioned before, goes through different stages. Every child. So the 4 to 12 years age is is an age where children are learning words. They are, playing with toys. They are getting friendly with other children. They are developing a little bit of awareness on who they are and their emotions. And however, they know only 1,200 words at that time. So, what do you expect children to do? They will throw tantrums. The tantrums is a physical expression of expressing through words, which the child cannot do. They are throwing tantrums like crying, breaking things, not wanting to eat, not listening,
Not
because they are unable to put in words what they are feeling.
feeling. Okay, very true. So, as a parent, you have to try to understand that, okay, maybe the situation is affecting her adversely. She's not able to go to school, is not able to meet her friends, her teachers, cannot go and play in the park, nothing, just at home.
Yeah,
So,
and
parents can
moreover,
help her.
absolutely, ma'am. And moreover, it's very important that when the child is throwing tantrums, please don't take it personally. You are a great parent. Don't think that you are any less. The child is throwing tantrum because I have been a bad parent. Never label yourself.
As a
First is
bad.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no good because we are not born with a Bible on parenting.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Every stage we are learning and
Learning.
unlearning
Mm-hmm.
how to be a better parent, and who will give us a trophy in the end. I mean, we will not get a gold medal or a
Of
trophy.
course.
Our gold medal and the trophy is how close bond are we with the child.
With our child. Very true. Yes. So, ma'am, is it true that children nowadays, as you have said, millennial children, they have more stress and anxiety that we had during our childhood or during our teenage years? Would it be as
um
true?
uh, Again, I will not be disputing generations because, of course, acknowledging our generations, there were stress, there were challenges. We had failures, we had seen failures, we had seen a lot of anxiety there also, when taking admissions in colleges, universities, getting rejected. We had our part. But here you have to understand the stress is different, the anxiety is different. There is a lot of competition from the time the child is born. Which preschool are we going to put the child in? Okay, that's the first thought that comes to the parent when the child is born. And then the immediate thing that they are doing is the parent is not bonding with the child, parent is not understanding or trying to create an environment where the child is learning at home, but we are pushing the child to perform. Okay, so the first thing what we are doing is, if the child is walking or singing, we are putting it immediately on social media. Instant gratification for the parents.
Yes.
So there is stress. So poor the child, you have to understand, ma'am, if the child is not feeling, maybe that day the child is not feeling good and not feeling okay,
Very.
and she does not want to perform, and she doesn't want to speak or write or do things, we put pressure on the child and we say that you can't do this, you have to do this, if you don't do this then the future is something, we talk too much in the past or in the future, we don't talk mindfully with the child in the present. We have to teach the child that it is okay not to want to study one day, not wanting to do things, just relaxing, just sitting in one space and thinking. It's also important because creativity comes from that
Very true.
space of not thinking anything.
Not thinking and not doing anything for
Yeah,
some time at least. Yeah,
yeah.
okay. So one of the parent is asking here that is it okay to punish the kid for the same repeated mistake he is doing? If once you tell him that not to do it, but again he does the same mistake, what can we do in such case? Do we punish
Okay.
him or how do we explain it to him?
Okay, so according to behavioral scientists, there is punishment and reward. Uh, However, uh, my suggestion is first find out what kind of parenting you believe in. Are you an authoritarian parent who believes on focusing on obedience and punishment? Are you an authoritative parent who says that I have some rules in my house? I want every member of the house to follow that rule diligently. These rules are not laid by one person, but a joint amalgamation of our conversation with children and both parents. And and every person in that household will respect one another's boundaries, will respect one another's individuality, uniqueness, and at the same time will have a very assertive communication. That means you are okay, I am okay too. I am saying only this because I feel that this long hours of watching a movie or long hours of spending time in front of technology is going to give you these kind of health hazards in the future. You might not see it now, but it's shown in the brain of children who has been playing long hours digitally. They have gaps in the brain.
Okay. They have
So
gaps in the brain.
yeah,
Okay.
so you need to show that,
All right.
the science has to be understood by the child,
Child.
because otherwise the child will always be conflicting that you don't trust me, and another big issue, trust. You have to believe in the child, and punishment is not something to yeah, you can punish. For example, you can have a timeout, that okay, you have screamed on me, I have screamed on you, let's have a timeout. You will not do this, I will not do this, let's get back to our senses and let's communicate later in the day. Let's fix a point where we can talk amicably to each other. You lay down your points why you want to play, I lay down my points why I think you may not profit so much in playing right now, considering your results, your reports, whatever.
Okay.
So, very important when you're talking about the word punishment, it is very important to understand what kind of punishment are you giving. Is the child okay with that? Is it harming the child's identity? Is it harming the child's self esteem? Is it worth it?
Yes, that is true.
And most important, I would like to ask the parents that when you get angry, ask yourself before you erupt, ask yourself, why are you angry? What is making you angry? Is it the child only making you angry, or some of the circumstances and thoughts that you, or the conditions or situations you have faced in life that is causing this anger?
That is causing this anger. So even the parents have to reflect that what is
Yeah.
making them angry and how they can also improve. That is also correct. So as we know that there are many like stress management techniques. So would they be applicable to children as well? Any stress management techniques that you could suggest that?
Yeah. Is Shayali there? I have one slide which I have kept it ready about the techniques. Shayali, can you move it to the fifth or sixth slide where there is stress management for children?
Just let me know, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. This one, tame your
No, no, no.
emotions.
No, no, not this. So here, I just go to this type of stress here. I have kept it here.
Which one? This one?
Different types of stress, yes. Now, some of the stress which I was talking to Shreyoshi in the time, the beginning of the session, that there is some good stress and there is some negative stress. So negative stress is some things that will, cause you anxiety, will be very unpleasant, will decrease your performance, and will also keep you out of focus. However, any situation, for any situation, if you feel stressed, don't label it as a negative stress. There is a stress because something uncertain is there in front of you, and your mind is telling you to respond. That is why the stress is important, because it motivates you, it gives you energy to perform good in that particular event. So, for example, Shreyoshi, if you now look back, can you say that the stress was a good stress or a negative stress? You
Negative
feel
stress.
unpleasantness? Did you feel palpitation? Did your heartbeat increase? Did you, was sweating out, or you were fainting apart? Any of that happened?
Okay. Yes, we have to
Did
think whether these things happened or not. Okay.
Yeah, you have to introspect. If that doesn't happen, that means that the stress is telling you that you have to do a great work today. It is motivating you to work one step better than what you did last, or
Last
maybe
time.
yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's one parent who has said that sometimes my child gets very angry if something is done against his wishes. Then I said, okay, then I allow him to do whatever he wants. So is it what I'm doing is correct, that I'm allowing him to do whatever he wants, or how can I make him understand that, okay, that let's not do this? How will I help him? How can I, as a parent, help him? If something goes
Uh,
against his wishes, he gets very angry, and then I say, okay, Jane do, let's do it. You do whatever you want. Like
So
that also sometimes.
basically, you are more of a permissive parent. Basically, you do not believe in rules, you just allow the child to dictate. So you have to again find out if that is working good for you or not so good in the family environment. Okay. Uh, my only uh, solution would be here is communicate assertively. Say that I have these fears, I have these anticipations, these questions where I feel that things are not happening in the household that it should be. There has to be certain rules in the house
Rules
followed
set.
by the children. For example, not more than 2 to 3 hours of gaming, and after every 1 hour the child needs to take a break, because the eye flickering is very important. When your child is playing the game, you will see that the eyes are constant.
Constantly on
This-
the screen.
yeah,
Very.
and that is why they get headaches, they feel exhausted after playing.
Playing, yes.
Yeah.
Even
So
though they
you
have
have
been
to,
sitting.
as a parent, you have to find out the uh, whether that kind of permissive parenting is working in your family dynamics or not. If it is not working, you have to rework on being an authoritative parent. That means there are some rules, healthy rules. There
That
are
happens.
some, as a parent, you have to lay down some rules. You cannot give in to everything that the child is saying. You have
Yes.
to, there are some rules, you have to work it out with the child, negotiate that certain things you have to give up, certain things we can give you in return.
Very true.
Here, this reward and punishment, this reward can come, and this reward can come through affirmations, through positive strokes,
Okay.
that okay, you let go of the games today, I really appreciate your resilience to, or your strength to give up the game for a day, to at least respect what your parents are saying.
Okay. So, ma'am, now for the past 1 year, there has been online mode of teaching. So, for the preschool children, many of them, the parents have this, not complain, but they have these things that my child is not sitting, what to do, he's always running around. So, what tips can you give for such parents that if a child is not sitting, he's always running around? What can you tell those parents? I mean, this also leads to anger and stress, definitely. When they see that some children are sitting, then why my child is not sitting? So this
First is
definitely.
that, ma'am, you have to stop comparing. First,
Yes,
no comparison.
no
Your
comparison.
child may have various personal issues that the child might be going through. That is why the child has lack of focus. And I don't know which age group you're talking about
I'm
here.
talking about the right now preschool children as
You possibly cannot make them sit. It is impossible. This is the time for them to physically run around, play around, decrease the hours of sessions. Make it convenient so that the children, that 15-20 minutes that the child can sit, can be learning. And
yes.
let the child find her or his own space to do something. The learning can go on, but the child cannot sit for 1 hour, 35 minutes, 45 minutes. You can't expect a preschool child to sit, because this is their time for them to run out and move around. And you have to understand, their energy is not getting depleted. They are not going out to play.
Play.
So you
So
have to allow the child to run around, and that may be you as a mother sitting in front of the video and learning what the teacher is teaching, and then training the child in later times can be one solution.
one solution.
Second solution is, please do not react. I know every parent has to, especially mothers, have to go through the tiresome process of not only educating and training the child, but also managing the entire household through this lockdown. It is a tiresome work, and you might feel stressed out, which might lead to displaced anger. Please understand that the anger should not come to the child.
Very true. Yes.
Learning can be done through loving, through respect,
And
through
every child is
appreciation.
unique.
Yeah,
And every
every
child is
child is
unique.
unique, and if one child is sitting, you may know, you may also want to know this way, that you have to challenge your mind. This child is sitting in one place, but how much time is the child focusing on?
Okay.
And my child may be focusing 15 minutes in that session, and the remaining time the child is playing around, which is profitable. That 15 minutes of the child focusing, right? That
Yes.
learning is done.
Learning is done. Long as the learning is done, the
Yeah.
parents should relax.
Yeah, and moreover, learning can be done throughout the day. The parents have that information of what the preschool is teaching. Use it through the day, break it up through the day. If the child is not willing to sit today, address what is happening with the child, because mental health is not only affecting adults, it is also reaching out to the younger children, and they have different problems, psychosomatic problems like bedwetting, nail biting, stammering, not able to make friends, to always fidgeting. These are ways by which the child is exhibiting that I am not okay. I need to be addressed. I need to be looked at. I need to be affirmed. I need to be given positive strokes.
Yes, very true. Yes. Okay. So thank you very much for those inputs. They were really very useful. So
Thank you.
as we say that anger and stress is not good for us, but how can are there some meditation techniques or something like where we can relax as a family? What can we do to remove all the anger and stress that we have? Could
Okay.
you suggest some
Yeah,
things?
I can take you all through a small a session now, which is a dialectical behavioral therapy technique, which is called One Mind. One Mind means, O stands for one thing at a time. N stands for being here and now. E stands for attend to the environment. M stands for being attentive towards your mind. I stands for increase your five senses. N stands for take a non-judgmental stance, and D is describe what your expectation is without any interpretation. So one mind is a very important way where you can actually help yourself, you help your family and the child to de-stress. Okay, and I will take you through, ma'am. If you can, if you have a paper and pen in hand right now.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I will now take you through this five senses techniques, and all those who have joined in, I would request you all to grab a paper and pen in front, and I want you to do this practice and maybe regularize this practice throughout the, all through the time, all through the day with your children and with your husband, with your in-laws if you all have them. It is extremely, a useful technique when we are trying to be objective, when we are trying to live here and now. And when we are living here and now, all our mental problems disappear because we do not live with our past experiences. We do not worry about the future. We are living every breath that we are taking today. We are living that today
In the present.
in the present, and there will be less of anxiety, less of stress, okay, and less of anger, displaced anger.
Yeah, very
So
true.
I want you to write down five things you can see around you, any five things that is grabbing your attention around you.
Okay.
Just write it down.
Anything that it could be anything
Anything,
small.
anything,
Okay.
anything that you can see, just write that down. Then you have to write down four things that you can hear.
Okay.
So you now need to work your senses out, and you have to now consciously and proactively experience what you're surrounded with. What are the four things you can hear?
Okay.
Then you have to write down three things that you can smell. Any three things that is coming or you're smelling right now, sitting in the place that you are. Three things that you can smell. Two things that you can touch or feel, or any sensation that is coming on your skin. So maybe the roughness of your dress, the coldness of the floor, whatever.
The feeling you're saying, what we
Yeah,
can feel.
yeah, the hardness of the pen which you have touched, that two things that you can touch and feel. One thing that you can taste inside your mouth. And when you do this and when you come out of this, you are practicing gratitude, which is the most important skill.
Okay.
You are actually sitting and experiencing how grateful you are for the senses that you've been given, the experience that you are going through at this moment. And when you are doing this, that is a very good way of breaking your stress or anxiousness level. You are attaching your senses to the current situation, and you know in your heart that the uncertainty that is looming over me, the fear that is looming over me, the sadness that is looming over me, is going to pass away, because I know that I'm living this moment, I am experiencing this moment, and the negative things that I'm facing right now will also pass away. And as a result of which, what will happen, your stress level for that moment will come down.
Come
And
down.
it's a very unique way. It's a dialectical behavioral psychotherapy. And it's a very beautiful way of you staying connected with nature. staying connected with the environment that you are in.
That's true.
Even when your children are walking up and down or running, most of them are with headphones listening to music. Tell them that throw away the headphone, experience that when you're running, what are the kind of experiences that you gather. For example, the chirping of birds, the hustling of the leaves, or when you're running, the kind of sensation that you are feeling, the speed that you are feeling. All these are very important to make the children stay grounded, stay
Yes.
focused. Yeah.
Okay.
Another very important technique, which we as counselors and psychologists do, is progressive muscle relaxation. And here, this technique was invented by Jacobson, and he said that. We have to, whenever we feel very stressed out and worried and there is fear, lie down in one place, or sit in a comfortable position, and each muscle group, like starting with the feet, try to contract and tense them up, okay, one at a time, and slowly loosen them up one at a time. In that way, you are actually bringing about tension to your body, to your muscles, and learning how to let go,
Relax. Let go.
relax. Another technique is 478, that is in the count of 4. You inhale, hold the breath for a few seconds. In the count of 7, exhale deeply out. You do it 8 times in a day.
Okay.
478
478.
technique, especially good for children, especially when they're sitting for exam, they have exam anxiety, performance anxiety, especially sportsmen who are into performance anxiety. You can do this 478 technique. It will help you to regulate your breathing and calm you down. Because the more your body is stressed, the worse performance comes out.
Yes, very true.
Because you're burning out. That becomes a distress call. It
Yes.
is no longer a eustress, it becomes a distress.
So that technique, would you repeat it again? Four is like hold the breath for 4 counts.
No, you have to breathe in the count of 4. So, like 1, 2, 3, 4, inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale out slowly and deeply in the count of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do it 8 times in the day.
Very okay, okay. So that would be useful for all, I think, not only children but even adults. Yes, ma'am. So thank you very much for spending your precious time with us. And it was a Sunday, and I'm sure you must have different tasks also during a Sunday that which you cannot do during the week. So thank you very much for giving your precious time to us. So
Thank
before
you.
we leave, would you like to say any? Would you like to conclude what the whole webinar would be all about? Just in a few sentences, if you would like to conclude what you want to say to our parents.
So I would like to tell the parents that you all are doing a wonderful job. Each child is expressing their gratitude. I, being a mother, we are, none of us are perfect parents. We all have our own mistakes that we do as parents. Please do not judge yourself. Always observe yourself outside like an observer. Like if you have done things that have not worked with you and the child, no problem. Let go of that situation. Try to get back to communicating and dialoguing with the child. Say that, okay, got angry. I let go of the situation. You also, I have, said some hurtful things, and I am deeply sorry about it. Yeah, and when you say that, when you acknowledge that, and you express your that you have made a mistake, the child also learns through role modeling that it is okay to make mistakes, it is okay to express the anger, but not take it to the level where both of y'all are breaking things, and the communication gets sort of damaged out of this.
Damaged. Yes.
So it's very important that you don't stay with the past and whatever happened. Continue communicating. It may not work on one day, it may not work on the second day. Still continue going to the child, giving positive strokes, giving affirmations that I know I am so grateful to God that I have you as a child. And as what happens now, the child may not be able to express, because again, adolescents have different stages. But when they become adults, they will be role modeling what you have been as a parent,
Yes, very true.
and they will appreciate, respect you as a mother or a father. They will say that yes, it's okay that you have, as a parent, you are also a human being, you have made mistakes, that's fine, but I love you, and that is what's important.
Okay, yes. So, thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us, and it was great listening to you. And I think the audience who are there with us, they would have also their questions would have also been answered. And thank once again, I can just say thank you very much for
My
joining
pleasure. Thank you
on
so
behalf
much for
of
having
UDL
me
Kids
here
and Gen
today.
Alpha. Thank you very much, and hope to meet you soon when everything gets better. You can come to Pune or we come to Bangalore to meet you.
Absolutely. I hope that all the parents around here who has watched me today, I hope you all have a smile on your face. Give yourself a big hug. You all are wonderful parents, and your children are very grateful for having you. And thank you today for giving me this opportunity of, speaking to the parents, although virtually.
Mhm.
But I love interacting with children, with parents and children, of course. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you on behalf of